Hello and welcome to today's live broadcast and community coaching conversation. Today we are going to be talking about coffee and how coffee may impact your intermittent fasting and, more importantly, the results that you are hoping for. So welcome. If you are new, I always ask that you take a second, if you're joining us on YouTube, to hit that subscribe button, and then make sure that you have hit that little bell notification also, so you'll be notified when we go live. And if you're joining us on Facebook, please make sure you're following the page over there as well. I also post information there periodically throughout the week. That way you'll stay connected with us in that community there as well. But like I said, today we're going to talk about intermittent fasting and coffee. If you are new, I always like to take just a second to introduce myself. My name is Diane Parham. I'm the creator of the online course and community, the Intermittent Fasting for Today's Aging Woman, as well as our Midlife Mindset Shift course, which is available to our course graduates. I have been practicing intermittent fasting for about 6 years, and I've done all the things correctly to get the results I was hoping for. And then I've also made some little stumbling mistakes along the way that actually stalled some of the results I was hoping for. So I always like to share those experiences here with you to help you possibly avoid some of those pitfalls and get to the results you're hoping for more quickly. So let's get started on today's conversation. So, like I said, today we are going to be talking about fasting and coffee. And I know this is a really sensitive conversation to have with people, because everyone has their opinion about coffee and things we put in coffee, or things we can actually do inside of our fasting window that will, help us get to the results that we're hoping for. And I really do like to approach these conversations from a mindset standpoint, because the science is out there. You can go research it. I want to talk to you about you as the individual woman and the results that you're hoping for and what it is you're feeling frustrated about, and get to the bottom line of why it is we're allowing some things to hold us in this little holding pattern where we're feeling stuck. I also want to remind everyone that starting in January, remember, we're going to be changing this time that we get together to have our conversation to noon Central Standard Time on Mondays and Thursdays. So just make a note of that in your calendar, and I'll keep reminding you guys as well. Okay, so let's get to today's conversation. Fasting and coffee. Does coffee break a fast? And what I always like to come back with for women who ask me this question is, why are you fasting? So what results are you hoping for with implementing this as a lifestyle, or what I hope is a lifestyle and not just some quick fix approach to something you're unhappy with about your body or how you're feeling, right? So why are you fasting? Are you fasting to improve your metabolic health? Are you fasting for weight loss or maybe some fat loss? Are you fasting to rest your gut and just kind of detox your body and give yourself a little reset? Are you fasting for the energized sense of calm? You know what that is if you're in this community and you're a graduate of the Intermittent Fasting for Today's Aging Woman course. That's that place we get to when our body is feeding off of all the things that we have in storage and energizing itself from within without a new food experience. Are you fasting for hormonal balance? Are you fasting for deep cellular repair? So answering that question honestly for yourself is going to help you determine what you do in your fasting window and what you're willing to risk, right? So in the comment section, why don't you do me a favor and answer for me why it is you're fasting. Is it metabolic health? Is it weight loss? Is it fat loss? Is it gut rest? Is it for the energized sense of calm, so your body's just producing its own energy so you can get through your day? Is it hormonal balance, or is it deep cellular repair? So put that in the comment section so we can address some of these situations specifically. So what are some of the things we do to coffee, right? So we say we want our morning coffee, right? But what ends up happening is we put a bunch of stuff in our coffee, and it's really not coffee anymore. We know there's so many amazing benefits to a really good quality cup of coffee. I have mine right here this morning, right? So we know the polyphenols, we know that it's the caffeine can give us some mental clarity, give us a little boost of energy, some alertness type of feelings. We know that it can act as an appetite suppressant. We know it is a diuretic, so it can help us shed some water weight. There's a lot of things that coffee can provide for us in its true natural state, right? A freshly brewed cup of coffee. But when we put sweeteners and creamers and milk alternatives, fat, we change the makeup of what coffee is, right? And now for a lot of people, it becomes a treat. And it sets off not only our digestive system, but it also creates a hormonal and chemical response in our body. And when we have a hormonal and chemical response in our body, that's when we break a fast. I also like to warn everyone and caution you about this thing that we all do, myself included, and this is where I really tripped myself up when I started intermittent fasting, is if you're searching for an answer that you specifically want on the internet, I promise you, you will find it. So if you are searching for, does coffee break a fast? All you have to do is search long enough to get to the answer that you're hoping to get. And if you want to have coffee with any of these things in it, right, in the morning, and you hope it's not breaking your fast, you will find someone that will tell you that. That's not the problem. The availability of answers is never going to be our problem. The problem lies when we create this conflict in our own decision-making process or in our own mindset about why we're allowing something other than what it is we say we want. So if you want coffee, keep it coffee. If you want a treat, you can make it a treat. If you want something that's going to act as a tool for you, research how these things might be tools for you. And then if you're happy with the results, then guess what? Coffee in that form for you is working. But for most women, especially when you're in a state of hormonal imbalance or you're really frustrated with your body's inability to lose weight, or the aging signs and signals are just heavy weight on you right now, then why would you ever risk the power of a good quality cup of black coffee and all the things that benefits you for any of these things? So we have to get to our why first and foremost. So if you're putting stevia in your coffee, or you're putting heavy whipping cream, or you're creating your little magical bulletproof coffee combination, and you're frustrated, I always recommend testing it out, right? Go a week or two with, even if you have to go no coffee, right, or black coffee, and see how your body reacts and responds to that test. If you start getting better results, if you start feeling better, if you get to that place where you're self-energized because you're not creating that hormonal and chemical response, then that bulletproof coffee, despite what other people are telling you on the internet, it's probably not working for you. Or that heavy whipping cream, or that little innocent scoop of stevia or packet of stevia could be the thing for you, and your body where it is right now could be breaking the fast. And when you break your fast, that's when you stop seeing and feeling the results. The thing we want to remember about fasting, right, is that it is a conscious decision that we're making about not disturbing our hormonal and chemical makeup with food. We also have to remember that food is anything that we put in our body. It doesn't mean that you have to sit at a proper table with a placemat and a knife and a fork and a plate full of food. Anything that we put in our body that creates a chemical or hormonal response will break your fast. Now, sometimes that's okay if you have the right why around why it is you're fasting. And if it is just a break from food, or if it is just an opportunity to, feel that energized sense of calm, and you're not trying to reverse anything specific, then what you're doing with your coffee might not be a problem for you. It's where we create the conflict in our brain of, but I want my coffee. I can't imagine living my life without it the way I like to make it. And I'm also frustrated with the results I'm not receiving. So we have to recognize that conflict to get to the bottom line. If you're not happy with the results, it is always tied to a decision you make about something you put in your body. That is the bottom line truth. It doesn't matter how many calories it is. It doesn't matter what the ingredient makeup is. If you're not happy with your results, it's always a decision you're making about something you're putting in your body, and you have to come to a decision about why you're letting that happen. So your mindset always matters. It should be the thing that that is above and beyond the everyday information you're getting and advice you're getting from the internet, including from me, right? If there's a conflict in your brain about the decisions you're making and the results that you're hoping to get or the results that you're not getting, you have to go back to thinking about why it is you're living in this sort of hamster wheel of decisions and disappointment, right? And that's where we start to fall victim to our own, what we call self-sabotage, throwing in the towel, falling off the wagon, however it is we want to describe that. And how do we end that cycle, right? So we have to go back to this. Is what you're after with your coffee a satisfying taste? I can't imagine my coffee without my heavy whipping cream or my scoop of stevia or whatever it is, my bulletproof coffee, whatever it is you're putting in it. Is that more important, the satisfying taste of your coffee more important than the result that you say that you really want? Is it a feeling that you're after? And is that a satisfying feeling for you? I remember back in the day when I used to drink my coffee with so much hazelnut creamer in it that my coffee turned white and I would have to reheat it in the microwave because there was so much cold creamer in it. It wasn't even a hot cup of coffee anymore. And I couldn't understand why it is I wanted to fall asleep after I had my coffee. Well, I just gave myself the biggest dose of a sugar like down, right? Like my body doesn't process sugar well. I don't get a sugar buzz. I just get a sugar drop. And I was so tired and felt so beat up after my coffee. And it wasn't until I made that connection with what I was putting into my coffee that I was no longer benefiting from what the coffee was, because it wasn't coffee anymore. It was a hazelnut creamer concoction with a little bit of coffee to justify why I was drinking creamer, right? And we have to go back to that. Is that the same situation you're in? And can you make that connection with your brain so you can make some changes? So are you getting the feeling that you want from your coffee? And the last but most important question you need to ask yourself is the result that you're getting with the decisions that you're making satisfying to you, or is it frustrating for you? And if it's not satisfying, if you're not waking up every day, putting both feet on the floor, ready to start your day, looking and feeling your best, then we have to go back and ask ourselves a series of questions. What decisions am I making throughout the day that are keeping me from feeling satisfied about the results that I'm hoping for? And if taste is the bigger priority over results, then you have to accept the results that you're getting. If the feeling you have, and the feeling kind of goes with the taste, right? There are so many people that come to me and say, I will do anything to lose weight. I will do anything to, lose this body fat. I will do anything to get rid of these menopausal signs and symptoms, but don't tell me I have to give up my creamer and my coffee. That's when we put taste before, or a feeling of satisfaction in the morning that we get from that sensation of drinking that treat. That's more important than the result. And that's okay. The only thing that is a problem for us, or creates this frustration and the negative self-talk in our head, is when the decisions we make don't line up with what it is that we say that we really want. That's okay if you're okay with that result. If you're in conflict, you have to go back to the decisions. Why am I making the decisions that are keeping me from the results that I want? If the coffee is with creamer and sugar and cocoa whip or whatever it is you're putting in it, is the thing that is most important to you, then just end the conflict with the disappointment of the results that you weren't getting, that you thought you should get, right? That's the key. End the disappointment and end the conflict. And it's okay. Enjoy your coffee. There's nothing wrong with that as long as you're happy. But you have to end the conflict. There are plenty of people who drink coffee before they work out. It's like their pre-workout formula. Breaking your fast is not the problem, right? Many people break their fast. I dirty up my fast myself because I love to have that feeling before I work out, and I'm also getting the results that I'm hoping for. So the problem is that middle section of, are you getting your results? We do not have to be perfect. We do not have to be science projects. We don't have to be so regimented and so diligent about everything being perfect that we also end up unhappy. The reason we have the intermittent fasting for today's aging woman course, the reason I teach the course the way I teach it, is to give you that 3-week experience to be able to answer these questions for yourself and realize, once you get into that consistent longer fasting, you start to change your mindset about where your value system is with the decisions you're making about what you're going to put in your body. And you start to realize that this feeling is so much more satisfying than this when you also get this, right? And this is what we're hoping for here. And when you start to get this, and this starts to change, the decisions you make about how things taste for you are also going to change. And that's what we're hoping for here. So for those of you who are interested, remember our intermittent fasting for today's aging woman course will be starting on January the 8th. I'm going to be sending out invites via my email coming up here in about a week or two. So make sure you're on my email list. Make sure you're getting my emails, more importantly, so that you can jump into class. We work on this part so that you can get this part, right? Because it is always just a series of decision-making conflicts that we have going on in our brain that we need to make sure that we're dealing with so we can get the result we're hoping for. So now's the time when we open up the conversation for you guys. So make sure you put a comment in the comment section. I'm going to come back through and make sure I address everyone who's left me a comment. If you have specific questions about coffee or what it is you put in your fasting window, and if it's breaking your fast, we have to understand why you're fasting, right? I'm at a maintenance point in my life. There's nothing that I need to reverse. I'm very happy with my weight. I'm very happy with my physique. I'm very happy with everything that's going on in my life as a postmenopausal woman who's about to be 56. So my fasting has changed from the time when I was fasting to save my life, right? When I was pre-diabetic, when my brain was failing me, when I was carrying all that extra weight, the way I fasted then and my why was different than the way I fast now and my why today. That's okay also. Just make sure you're creating that mindset where you don't have any conflict, and then you get to decide your intermittent fasting lifestyle so you can keep it for a lifetime. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Wanda, perfect timing. Awesome. Hopefully I've answered some questions you might have had or concerns you've had. And if not, make sure you put it back in the comment section. I'll make sure I come back to you as well. Peggy, all the above. I know, girlfriend, for sure. Sophia, I don't know what that is. Lori Ann, all the above. Yeah, most of us are fasting for all the above. And what we're talking about, in case you joined late, the all the above is why we are fasting. I'm hoping that's the question you guys are answering, right? Why are you fasting, right? We all want to be able to take advantage of these benefits with intermittent fasting. And let me mention this, since you guys are saying all the above, for sure we got a couple more all the aboves also, is that when you are confident and your mindset about intermittent fasting is rock solid, right? Like, you know why you're doing it. You can really ebb and flow your way through your week or your month or your year or your life with a fasting lifestyle. So today, for instance, is a day that I don't work out. I have my black coffee I'm having this morning, and I'm going to do a really long, clean fast all day because I'm not going to ask anything extra of my body except to just rest and enjoy the fast. When I'm working out, my day's a little different because I ask a lot of my body through what I'm doing in my fitness. So when you really get confident and you get that maturity about your fasting, you can ebb and flow, and you won't send yourself in like a downward spiral if you test something and it doesn't work out. So your goal should be that fasting maturity and the confidence you get from intermittent fasting and how you make decisions for yourself, for sure. Lori, weight loss and reset, lose inflammation. Okay, so if you're really interested in losing inflammation, Lori, that's why I say go clean and go long, right? And that's what the goal of the intermittent fasting for today's aging woman course is. By the 7th day of class, women are dropping all kinds of pounds on the scale, or they're noticing a change in their physique, and it's all the inflammation that's dropping out of their body because you just got out of the way and you removed all the intolerances, and your body lets go of that inflammation. So that's where I say you don't want to sacrifice the opportunity to lose inflammation by putting these things in, or that are going to interfere with the healing process in a fasting state. Sandy, weight loss and fat loss. Yeah, so weight loss and fat loss is a maintenance thing. That's where I say you want to make sure you are including the trifecta to aging successfully. So fasting long enough, feasting well enough, and training smart enough so that you can tap into the excess that your body's holding onto and start utilizing that for energy, for sure. So let me know if you have any questions about that, Sandy. Liz, metabolic health and weight loss. Yeah, for sure. So the cool thing about those two things, Liz, is that uh, weight loss comes when you're metabolically flexible. So working on those two things together will yield you a really amazing result. And remember, metabolic health is not just what you eat and how you exercise, which is what we kind of grew up learning about metabolism. So metabolic health is your sleep, how you handle stress. It has to do with nutrition. It has to do with what you put in your body and how your body is going to actually metabolize and break those things down. And then it also has to do with how you're moving your body as well. So for a lot of us, we work out way too hard, pulling even that back a little bit with the other four components, and you'll start to see your metabolic health shift, and then the weight loss will come off for sure. DS, I'm with you, Penny. Awesome. I don't know where Penny is. Okay, let's see. Hey, Diane, I have a question. I'm trying to lose weight. If I do 20 to 24-hour fast, should I eat a large full plate or less to see a weight change? That I don't know. So this is where you have to really test, right? And see what it is your body's going to respond to. And this is what we teach inside the Intermittent Fasting for Today's Aging Woman course. If your body has a lot of healing to do and a lot that it can self-consume in a fasted state, you'll notice that in your feasting window, you're not going to be as hungry. I teach this in the class and why it is we don't have to count calories. So you have to kind of just play with things until you find your sweet spot for sure. And then when you start to see the weight loss come off, that's a sign that your body is healing. And that's the sign that we're hoping for, right? So it takes a little bit of time to play with it. And that's what we teach the course for. So you can get a little head start on that one for sure. DS, trying to determine the most important one. Girl, just pick one, right? Like they're all, what the cool thing about all of these is that they're all interconnected, right? We think we have one specific reason for fasting, but once you really get a lot of these things that are ailing us as we start to age under control, right? Then you benefit from all these things, right? So I'm going to be in a fasted state that's going to rest my gut today because I'm going to be in this fasted state for a long time. I'm not going to put anything in my gut that has to be digested, so my gut's going to rest. I don't have any issues with this, but I know I keep this situation at bay and under control because I consistently fast day in and day out. My metabolic health is something that's a huge priority of mine. I test for that. I get the energized sense of calm if I don't mess up my coffee and take all the advantages that coffee provides to me in its pure state. I have hormonal balance. I know that because of all the things that have gone away as I've transitioned through menopause. And you have deep cellular repair going on when you're in that deep fasted state and you have touched into that like window of autophagy and you start to see things healing, right? This is the magic of intermittent fasting when you do it correctly and for the right reasons, is you'll start to notice things reverse without you even paying attention to it. That's the deep cellular repair and the magic of fasting for sure. Wanda, weight maintenance after losing 18 to 20 pounds through IF and a healthy body and mind. Yeah, then just fast every day. If you just fast every day for however many hours you can fast and you keep it as clean as possible, or you add in that training smart aspect to also help you, girlfriend, you'll be able to maintain that one for sure. Bonita Bishop, healthy body and weight loss. Yeah. So all of you are on the same page is what I love about this community. So there's no reason we should be risking what it is with our fasted state by putting a lot of these things in, which are they're all pretty processed, right? I say the one exception is when you put some fat in your coffee, like a good teaspoon or tablespoon of coconut oil. The one thing to keep in mind about putting fat in coffee is it is very calorie dense. Not that we're worried about calories, but it's a lot for your body to process, right? So make sure if you're putting fat into your coffee to get you that little bit of ketosis type of environment for your body. Your body's also already good at utilizing its own fat as a source of energy. So this is the one I would say to make sure that you're just really sure about why you're putting fat in your coffee. And it's totally legit. Putting fat in your coffee even before a workout is really great, but you just want to make sure you're testing it out so you don't end up bumming yourself out if you don't get the results you're hoping for. Denise, love the energized sense of calm, and black coffee helps me get to that 20-hour fast that it brings. Yes, for sure. That's why I love my coffee in its purest state, nothing in it. And remember, I went from a hazelnut creamer coffee girl where her coffee was white and had to be reheated to straight black coffee. So once you break the sugar addiction, once you break the habit, once you get your why right and the mindset right about the power that coffee can bring you, why would you ever risk breaking your fast for that, right? So these are all the things that we have to make sure they're not a bigger priority for us and are messing our mindset and decision-making process over because it tastes good or it feels good or I can't imagine living without it. But then we sit in turmoil about why it is we're not looking and feeling our best. Patty. Cacao butter is yummy. I add 1 tablespoon to my coffee and it's a good fat, no sugar added, but I do use Coffee Mate non-dairy creamer and enjoy my coffee. I am not sabotaging anything with my coffee. I have tried using heavy whipping cream, half and half, nut pods, and nothing at all. I always end up back with my Coffee Mate non-dairy creamer. Yeah, so if that works for Patty, then that's the decision Patty has to make. And I know Patty, she's in our midlife mindset shift course. She doesn't have that conflict in her head about feeling guilty about making her coffee the way she wants it. That's what we're hoping for, right? Is to end the conflict and enjoy these little things in life. If you say that that's what you want to enjoy, but you can't then beat yourself up over what your body's not capable of doing, right? So you have to erase that conflict for sure. And Patty's doing a really good job with that, which is why we have the midlife mindset shift course. Donna, I like your cup. I do enjoy my morning coffee. I'm glad I can drink it black, but sometimes I do like putting creamers in it, but I do want dessert treat, or do I want what is best for my body? Okay, so here's the thing too. This is where we create boundaries, right? And we create kind of these habit triggers, and you just have to be aware of them. So if you do on occasion like to have a little something in your coffee, pick a day of the week or a day in the month where that is what you do as an exception, and just enjoy the heck out of that, right? You just want to make sure all the ingredients are like, approved by what it is you're wanting to put in your body, and then just enjoy it guilt-free. That's the thing we have to reconcile with, is if you want some pumpkin spice creamer, this is the time of year where all the fancy creamers are out, right? Or you want something special in your coffee, just give yourself permission to have it on that day and then break that cycle before it becomes the new habit or the new norm for you. So allow yourself a treat. I always put those kind of things in my planner, right? So if it's a special coffee day, write that in your planner. Today I'm going to have my special coffee, but then be okay with the fact that tomorrow you might crave that mentally, maybe even physically, and you just have to fight that craving until you get back to your regular cycle for sure. Lorianne, metabolic, a sense of calm, clear thinking, weight loss are my reasons for fasting. Awesome. They're all of ours, it seems like, which is why we all hang out here together. Even I know that is true for you as well. Peggy, luckily, I've never been a coffee drinker. I have enough other temptations to fight. Yeah, for sure. We all do, Peggy, for sure. We all have our little vices, right? And then it's that thing where life's too short. Life is that thing that we're always trying to find the happy balance with. And so you don't want to put yourself in such a tight box that you're not, quote unquote, allowing yourself to enjoy some of the simple pleasures in life, which, we have to be honest, just makes life more fun and happy, right? As long as we're happy with ourselves. So you have to allow some flexibility and some freedom for some of those little things that just bring us joy. That's just what they are. We have to just be okay with that. But then you have to break the cycle of it before it becomes your new habit and you end up down a path that, again, you're not going to be happy about. So allow for those things, but just make sure you're calendaring them or creating boundaries around them. Mercedes, hello. How are you? I'm fine. Hope you're doing well. Also, Gray, learning with you how to enjoy my coffee black. Thank you. You're welcome, girlfriend. Okay. Here's the other thing about black coffee. If you're not enjoying your black coffee, it might not be that it's black coffee. It might be the kind of coffee that you're drinking, right? This one here is one of my favorite coffee brands. It's called Trident Coffee. They have like coffee breweries in San Diego, but that you can also buy online from them as well. It's one of my favorite. The Bulletproof Coffee brand of coffee beans is another really good one. One thing to look for with coffee beans, if you're making your coffee at home, is you want to make sure they're not shiny. You want your coffee beans to have a dull finish to them, and that is just an indication that they're not overly processed. So it's a good little tip. So you want to make sure your coffee beans have a dull finish and they're not shiny if you're brewing coffee at home. Victoria, good morning from Albuquerque. This is my first time I've got to catch you live. I'm playing hooky. I've been doing IF for about 2 years and it's amazing. Clear mind and clothes always fit. Yeah, Victoria, congratulations. We won't tell anybody you're playing hooky today. So good to have you live with us. Tina, When I started drinking black coffee in the morning, fasting the entire day became so easy. No more white knuckling it for 20 to 21 hours because I was putting stevia and non-dairy creamer. Black, nothing in my coffee made such a difference. Yes. So the reason why we want to really be aware of these things and ask ourselves why we're allowing things in our fasting window that could break our fast is that all of these things, like I said, they create a hormonal and a chemical reaction in our body that tells our brain that something's coming in that we have to process, and our digestive system starts. There have been studies done on sweeteners, even artificial sweeteners like stevia, right? And the sweetness on your tongue sends a signal to your brain that something's coming in to be digested, and it starts the hormonal process. So there are a lot of people out there who will tell you that putting stevia in your coffee won't break your fast, but for a lot of us women especially, going through hormonal changes where insulin is the hormone that is causing us the most problems, and that a hormone is out of balance, most people end up having a response with something as innocent as a sweetener that has like no real value to it, right? The other thing about sweeteners, and I've done a video on this before, is not all sweeteners are created equal. So if you get a stevia packet or artificial sweetener packet, they usually have some additives or preservatives added to it. One of those being maltodextrin. Maltodextrin, if you were to look on the the diabetic website, of how to cure diabetes, maltodextrin is one of the things that diabetics are specifically warned against putting in their diet because it causes the most severe insulin response because of the glycemic index load that maltodextrin holds. So read your ingredients even on things like sweeteners, because they have things in them that make them very problematic for you reaching the goals that you say that you want for yourself. Judy, because I like my coffee as a latte with milk, I use it to break my fast each day. Works well for me. There you go. So Judy found a place for her coffee the way she likes it, where she can also reap the benefits and get the results that she's hoping for. That's a win for sure. Judy, thank you for sharing that. And then Shayna, what about collagen? So collagen is a protein, and protein 100% breaks the fast and it ceases autophagy. So if you want collagen in your coffee, hang out with Judy in the afternoon. You guys can go get a cup of afternoon coffee together. Move it to the afternoon for sure. So protein and carbohydrates do 100% break a fast. Fat in its purest form does not. So it doesn't create an insulin response. So make sure that you're testing that out as well. Shayna, what about collagen? Yes, for sure. I think I just did that one. Gail, weight loss and inflammation, pain reduction. So girlfriend, you, especially the pain reduction part, I would stick to a very clean fast for a period of time until you start to notice some of those things reversing, and then go back and reevaluate your day and see where you want to test some things out. The pain reduction is caused by the inflammation and the weight that you want to lose, right? So once you get the inflammation down, you'll start to feel the pain reduction start to go away. That's a sign of healing, aka autophagy. Then the weight starts to come off for a lot of reasons, right? The inflammation is weight. So as soon as we lose that, you'll start to see a change in your weight. But we become more active when we're not dealing with pain every day. So when the pain goes away, your life will change because you'll actually be able to participate in it freely without having that weight of the pain on your mind all the time. And that ache, that's an energy suck. So you'll get that energy back as well. Gail, if you haven't already done so, make sure you get on my email list so that I'll put it in the chat for you guys of where to go to get on my email list so that you can get into our intermittent fasting for today's aging woman course. Most women by the end of course have seen a significant improvement in things like pain, inflammation, and they start to see that weight loss for sure. Jen, I started black coffee again. So good. I tried different brands. Instant Starbucks is nice and easy to prepare, especially on the go. There you go. So Jen experimented and she found a coffee that works for her. The thing about coffee too is you want to make sure it's it tastes good and it's satisfying to you. It has really good processing and how it's going to get from the field to you. You want to make sure it's affordable and easy for you to access, right? So those are all barriers to entry that we want to make sure that we've overcome so that coffee becomes a nice treat and not such a chore for us. What is the best way to break a 24-hour dry fast for vegans, please? I don't know. I don't dry fast, so I would do some research on that one for you. That's a very specific way of fasting, and I don't dry fast, and I'm I'm not a vegan. So do some research and then figure out if you can find some ways that will serve you. And then Michelle, do you know if decaf coffee has the same effect as caffeinated? Well, you're not going to get that energy boost from caffeine, and caffeine is also the part that's the kind of appetite suppressant aspect of it. But if you get a good quality decaf, Michelle, you'll get those polyphenols and some of the benefits from that as well. So I'd research the type of decaf, the company that's coming from, and see what they say about their coffee for sure. And then you have to test it out for you, right? And see if you do get that benefit. For people who don't metabolize caffeine well, decaf sometimes gives you a really good feeling as well, despite the fact that there's no caffeine in it, because the caffeine's just too much for you in your body to metabolize. I have zero problem metabolizing caffeine, so it's never an issue for me. So you want to check that one out for sure, Michelle, also. Okay, so the big question, right? Does coffee break a fast? So in general, for most people, no. If you're doing a multiple like water fast over several days to get into deep states of autophagy, I wouldn't put coffee in that window, or if I did it, I would do it probably at the very beginning and kind of wean yourself off for the remainder of the time you want to do a deep cellular healing water fast. But in general, black coffee will not break your fast. If your goal is to reverse a lot of the things that a lot of us have complaints about, the weight loss, inflammation, the pain, all those kind of things, coffee could be a really great tool for you. When coffee becomes what I call a crutch, and we teach this in class, it's when we put all these things in it. So we're kind of using and abusing coffee to justify some of these addictive type of things that we put in our day when we say to ourselves, I can't start my day unless I have my coffee with these things. I can't imagine my life without these things, but they're going to be the things that ultimately are going to keep you from the results that you're hoping for, unless you're already at that place where you reversed all the things that are kind of aching you and ailing you, and you're pretty happy about how you look and feel every morning when you wake up. Then play with these a little bit and see how they serve you. If you start to see or feel yourself sliding backwards, these are going to be the things that you want to test out again and probably take out, or maybe even move to a different part of your day. Remember, we fast, right, for an extended period of time. And the morning time is when we're at the deepest, most beneficial part of our fast until we break our fast. So that morning time is really critical to keep things on the up and up with how you're making your decisions, so you can benefit from the rest of the hours that you're going to fast. And then maybe mix in some of these things in your break fast time, or even move your fasting start time the day before so you have a little bit earlier time to break your fast in the day. It all matters when you're feeling conflicted about the results that you're not getting. That's the big key takeaway I want you guys to have here for sure. Let's see what we got here. Diane, what do you think about low carb, keto, or being a vegetarian? Would you see a bigger result if you have any experience with this? Okay, so I've done it all. You see the biggest result with anything when you're consistent over a long enough period of time to yield the result. So being a vegetarian, being a vegan, being a carnivore, being paleo, being any of those things don't matter if that's not how you authentically show up in your life. It's just putting yourself in a tight box with the label on it. So if you feel like meats might be a thing that your body's not breaking down and digesting well for you, then just take a break from meat for a little while and see how that feels. Oftentimes what happens when people fall into these descriptive ways of eating, vegan, vegetarian, paleo, all these kind of things, is we resort to alternatives to food, right? A lot of this is very apparent with the fake meat industry that is a big boom with everybody going more plant-based. So if you are going to switch eating whole food, whole non-processed, like untouched food items for something that's highly processed so you can fit a description of being a certain type of eater, then I say that's not going to benefit you. If you're going to be vegan or vegetarian and you're going to give up meat, give up all meat, even fake meat. Right? And so that's the big thing that we have to realize about doing those kind of things. I often take breaks from certain types of food groups. So I'll have like a meatless Monday or a vegan Wednesday, and I just kind of eliminate things to kind of test it out and see how I feel. So I would do that instead. Rotate how you put food on your plate for a week or two and see if you see a result there. But to put yourself into a box of someone else's description of what that lifestyle is might not work for you, because you're going to get marketed to and you're going to get caught up in that, and that might not yield you the best result. I have sensitive and fragile digestion. Yes, you got to be really careful. Keep a food log for sure. And if you're struggling with sugar addiction, and it's hard to control, you have to just clean break it if you feel like that's your struggle. Sometimes if you feel like allowing little things into your window are keeping you boxed in and a prisoner of your own decisions, you have to white knuckle it and just break the addiction. Sugar addiction is a real thing. It is as big as alcohol addiction. It is big as drug addiction. It's a drug. So if you feel like you're addicted and it's ruining the happiness and the results you're hoping for in your life, you have to do a clean break. Trying to ease yourself out of it is just a slow torture. I don't recommend that at all. Let's see. Roberta, I agree about fake meat and go whole food. Yeah, for sure. I've seen a couple of images going around the internet where they took like I'm not going to say a brand, but like a fake meat patty, and they took a dog food and they compared the ingredients, and the dog food was actually less processed and healthier than the fake meat product. So if you're giving up meat, don't go fake. Don't go fake on anything. If you're going to give up a food legitimately. Don't substitute in something fake to justify why you gave up the real thing. It all comes back to quality for sure. Thanks. You're welcome for sure. Okay, so I think that's it. Thanks so much, you guys, for being in the comment section. I absolutely love when we get to have this conversation, which is why I come on live for our live coaching and community conversation. So I appreciate you guys being here. If you're catching this on the rebroadcast, it's not too late. Jump in the comments. I make sure that I come back around and answer them for you as well. Again, if you want to get into our intermittent fasting for today's Aging Woman course, where we talk about all these things and you get support while you're trying to go through these trial and errors, make sure you get on my email list. The next one starts on January the 8th. And then one more thing real quick. Remember that we are going to change our time for us getting together. It will be noon starting the first week of January 2022, right here on YouTube and Facebook. It's just a better time for me and things that are going on with changes in our family for me to show up at noon. I hope you can make it. If not, know these are always recorded and uploaded to my YouTube channel and my Facebook group, and I'm trying to put them on my blog as well. Have a wonderful day, Patty. I'll see you on Thursday in our midlife mindset shift group. Michelle, have a great day as well. Again, thank you guys for joining me. I'll see you guys around the internet.